Hello, let's talk about what's happening in Ireland with a bonfire. So part of Irish tradition is to make a bonfire certain dates in the year. It's a nice tradition going back hundreds and hundreds of years. Now someone decided to put a mock-up of a mosque on top of a bonfire and light it up. Apparently someone was arrested under the reason that they are spreading hate. Now, let's stop there for a minute and let me tell you about another story about how communism works, and then I will make the connection between the two events. So under communism, after the election, the Communist Party usually gets elected with over 90% of the votes. Now, barely anyone votes for the Communist Party, but the results are always over 90%. Now, that's meant to instill some fear of communication between people. So if you know that you didn't vote for them, but the result is over 90%, that means that neighbor might have voted for them, or the other neighbor, or that close person, or the other close person. And out of fear of going against the communist, you will not approach the subject of voting or not voting with the Communist Party. So it's a good strategy to keep people afraid from communicating between them and agreeing on something against the establishment. Now, let's go back to the Irish bonfire. So the person was accused of spreading hate. That doesn't make sense. Because if that person spreaded hate, the assumption is that everybody was living happily with each other. There was no problem, no animosities, and no hate to begin with. But then someone put that mock-up mosque on top of the bonfire, and people saw it, and there you go, people became hateful because they saw that. No, the reason he was arrested is because the establishment doesn't want people to know that actually the vast majority of them believe the same thing and agree on the same things. That's why people like this get arrested, because they spread the message of potential cooperation. If you find out that people around you have the same opinions as you will ally with them. If you don't, you don't. Now, the government knows that. How do we know that the government knows that, and how do we know that this is the real reason why the arrest was made? Every election in the last 15-20 years in UK, every party that won the election on the promise that the illegal migration will stop and the grooming gangs will be dealt with, and all these promises. So that means that the government knows exactly what are the concerns of the vast majority of the population. They use those concerns to get the votes, to get in power, and then they censor and they try to stop people to voice those concerns further. It's a communist tactic, and for the most part it works. Most of you view things the same way. most of you follow the same values. Most of you agree on these issues that are in the West at the moment. Most of you are on the same page. Well, then most of you should come together. Stay safe.